This is Movie Division. Today, I'm going to recap the action-adventure fantasy history thriller entitled The Northman. Spoilers ahead. Watch out. The movie opens with a narrator praising his god Odin and stating that it is the story of a prince destined for Valhalla, describing how his revenge was quenched. The movie switches to North Atlantic in 892 AD, where a little prince locates his father returning from the war and runs to inform his mother about his father's arrival. The queen gets ready to welcome her king, and after a while, King Arundel arrives among his people. His people welcome him warmly, and eventually, King Arundel meets his queen and Prince Amleth. After greeting his family, the king arranges a party at night where the king welcomes his brother, Fulnir, a ruthless killer. Fulnir meets the king, and on being ordered to offer the drink to Fulnir, Queen presents her drink to Fulnir, due to which one of the men doubts her character. The man infuriates Fulnir, but the king calms him and Fulnir's son, Thorir, is brought to him. In the following scene, Arundel is with his wife when he reveals that he is injured and shows his wish to announce his son, Amleth, as his successor. But the queen gets worried that Amleth will have to kill his uncle to be the next king and tries to comfort him. Arundel leads his son to the cave where they meet Heimer, who worships the god Odin, and after king and after prince arrive. They start acting like wolves. Heimer reveals the reality to Amleth, during which he steals his tears, stating that he will be given the tears back when he needed them most, and an oath to protect his familial blood and live with honor is taken from him. Arundel shows him his wound and asks him to behold the kingdom tree using his blood. Amleth looks at the wound and uncovers that he will be the next king. Arundel and Amleth leave the tunnel, but after a while, Arundel is attacked and gets hit by many arrows, but he orders his son to run. Amleth hides and keeps looking at his father when Fulnir arrives and beheads his brother in front of his eyes. After killing Arundel, Fulnir orders his men to find and kill Amleth, but he hides in the jungle, and one of the men tries to kill him. Amleth cuts his nose and returns to his mother. He finds his mother being taken by Fulnir, and the noseless man announces that he killed Amleth and has drowned him in the water. Amleth finds a boat and leaves, promising himself to revenge his father's death and to save his mother. After a few years, he is seen with a group of people who attacks the village and take control after killing all the defenders of the village. All of the children from the village are separated from their mothers and are burnt after being locked inside a room, but Amleth feels nothing for them as he has become one of the merciless killers at that time. At night, Amleth encounters a blind witch, which guides him about his fate and orders him to leave the village after returning his tears to him. The following day, one of Amleth's friends announces the transport of the enslaved people to King Fulnir in Iceland, which draws his attention. Amleth questions his friends and discovers that Fulnir has lost his kingdom to Harald, king of Norway, and is now living as a shepherd in Iceland. Amleth listens to this, joins the enslaved people after marking himself as one of them, and manages to sneak onto the boat. On his way, Amleth looks at a mysterious girl taking care of her friend, and she recognizes that he is not one of the enslaved people and calls him the Northman. Eventually, Amleth and the mysterious girl arrive in Iceland, and when asked by the girl, Amleth reveals to her that he is here to follow his fate and to regain what was taken to him. The girl listens to him, introduces herself as Olga, and offers his help, stating that he can overpower men with his strength while she has the cunning to play with their minds. After a while, all of the enslaved people are presented in front of Fulnir, who orders them to sell all of them, but Bornful shows his strength, due to which Fulnir gets impressed and orders him to stay here with them while Olga is also selected to deal with the kitchen affairs. At night, Bornfil leads his hut and reminisces his promise after catching a glimpse of his mother. Bornfil gets motivated and keeps working and spying on the guards. Finally, he gets a chance and enters Fulnir's hut, where he spots his mother while combing Fulnir's hair. The next day, Olga meets Bornfir and questions him about his mother. But before he can say something, the guards find them and takes Olga away. At night, Bornfir follows a wolf which leads him to a cave where he encounters Heimer's friend, who informs her how Fulnir killed Heimer, but he still has his head, which can talk about the future and the past. Heimer's friend casts a spell, so Heimer starts taking to Amleth and informs him about the sword Dragur, which is made of the rarest iron and is destined to be his weapon for revenge on his father's death on the gates of hell. After getting the information about the location of his sword, Amleth reaches the cave where he finds the sword in a dead king's hands, and he tries to snatch the sword, but the king's mummy attacks him. After a small fight, Amleth overpowers the king and beheads him using his sword. Amleth returns to his village with the sword and spots Olga fighting with Fulnir when he tries to get closer to her. Amleth hides his sword after promising to use it to haunt Fulnir until the day of his death arrives. The following day, Olga again meets Bornful, and he informs her that he has found his sword to kill Fulnir, and will keep haunting him until his death. On being asked about his mother, Bolnarl states that he will protect her, and maybe his son Gunnar too, thinking she is staying with Fulnir to protect her son. Olga is again ordered to return to her work. Following that, Thorir approaches Bornfir and questions whether he can fight, and he replies positively. Bornfir all participates in a game of death and encounters the most violent player of the opposite team, Gudru. Gudru knocks everyone out, and only Bornfell is left to compete with them. But then Furin's son, Gunnar, interferes with the game and gets injured. Bornfir knocks out Gudru and saves the king's son. In the evening, Thorir calls Bornfir and informs him that in return for winning the game and proving himself to be brave and loyal, Bornfir's workload will be lessened and he is allowed to select a woman for him. He selects Olga, and after having a good time with her, Olga questions him about what he will do next. Bornfir states that he is going to start killings from tomorrow. At the night when Blade feeds, Bornfir finds two of Thorir's friends alone and massacres them. The following day, everyone gets afraid after finding their dead bodies fixed on the wall. Thorir starts mourning the death of his friends while Fornir calms him. The elder arrives and announces that a distempered spirit has done it with a hungry blade that will return soon. She orders everyone to leave while she prepares a sacrifice. At night, the elder and Fulnir decide to sacrifice one of their female slaves, but Bornfir kills one of their men and hangs his body inside a room. Everyone concludes that their god has decided whom to sacrifice. Everyone, including Fulnir, is scared of evil, and he appoints every enslaved person to protect them from evil. Olga poisoned the food that night, and everyone who eats the poisoned food starts killing themselves. Fulnir gets, and Thorir becomes busy protecting the people while Bornfir gets a chance and approaches his mother. He points his sword at her neck and reveals that he is her son, but instead of being happy after seeing him alive, his mother becomes scared of him. She reveals the darkest truth about her past and his father, Arundel. She states that his father was not a good man enough to love him or his wife, but she found her love in Fulnir, which is why she never mourned his father's death. She also mentions that she is the one who begged Fulnir to kill his brother and Amleth too, so that they may start a new life. She tells him he was forced on her while Gunnar is the son she wanted and is made with love. She tries to seduce her son, stating that if he kills Fulnir, she will become his queen because he cannot kill his mother. Amleth is shocked after listening to this and kills Thorir furiously. On his way out, Amleth meets Olga, informs her that his mother is evil, and requests her to be ready to leave in the morning no matter what happens after he tells her that he has killed Thorir. The following day, Fulnir finds Thorir's dead body, without his heart, and starts mourning his demise. The queen comes closer to him and reveals to him that her son Amleth has killed his son, and one of the enslaved people has helped in this all. Fulnir investigates the enslaved people and kills them for not providing any information until he reaches Olga. Fulnir discovers it was her to help him, but before he can kill him, Amleth arrives and offers Thorir's heart in return for Olga's death. Amleth starts fighting Fulnir's men while Olga gets a chance and escapes from there. Amleth surrenders to save Olga, and after Fulnir takes his heart's son, Amleth says that he is not sure whether it is Thorir's heart or the dog's heart, killed 2 days ago. Fulnir tortures Amleth to get his son's heart, but he does not provide any information. Fulnir then leaves, stating that he will be back soon to kill him. Following that, Fulnir and his family get busy performing the last rituals for Thorir's death and sacrifice his horse and wife to end their mourning for him. Meanwhile, a few ravens approach Amleth and open his hands, after which a lady appears and takes him away on her horse. After Amleth opens his eyes, he finds himself inside a hot water pool and finds Olga has saved him. After that, they sit together and talk about how they unexpectedly fell in love with each other, while they both had no idea about each other, and were not told about each other by anyone. Amleth decides to give up on his revenge and have a new life with Olga. Amleth and Olga get on a boat as members of Fornir's crew. After a while, Amleth asks Olga about her neck wound, and as he tries to kiss her on the neck, he finds out that Olga is the girl from whom he is going to have twins, and his offspring will come from her. Olga discloses that she wanted to tell him after they got away from Fulnir, but Amleth realizes that his sons can never be safe if Fulnir is alive, because he will keep coming for them. Amleth concludes to return and considers himself to be the fool for running away from his fate. Despite being stopped by Olga, Amleth jumps into the ocean and returns to Iceland. He kills all of Fulnir's men and bestows the enslaved people with their freedom. Meanwhile, Fulnir leaves, his ordering his wife and Gunnar to keep hiding. After Fulnir leaves, Amleth arrives inside his hut and is attacked by his mother, but he kills her by running sword through her heart. Gunnar is also killed after he watches his mother getting killed by him. Amleth gets sad at their deaths, but Fulnir arrives and takes away their dead bodies after asking Amleth to meet him at the Gate of Hell. In the following scene, the enslaved people burn Fulnir's kingdom, and eventually Amleth reaches the Gate of Hell, where he finds the dead bodies of his mother and brother. Amleth pays his love to them, and after that, he starts looking for Fulnir. After he enters the smoky area, Fulnir attacks him from behind and they start fighting. Fulnir overpowers Amleth, but Amleth gets mad and starts counterattacking him. Amleth gains the upper hand during this last attack, but as he beheads Fulnir hits his sword in Amleth's chest. Both of them fall to the ground, and Amleth dies hallucinating about Olga and his twins, and the movie ends here. If you enjoyed this recap, leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on the bell notification and comment down your favorite part of the movie. Thanks for watching.